to all those who are sitting on the guys and friends. I don't know whether I'm going to make a keynote address, but I'm going to churn a lot. Case about maize in Goa. No, yes. Do you know why these no's come? Because people in Goa were slowly losing faith in political class. The PPP was read as public money in private pocket. It was, in fact, so much scared I am with it that I intend to change the nomenclature if I have to do it, the same concept. I will not name it PPP. In fact, I am thinking of changing the name of the directorate also from PPP to private initiative or something different. See, ultimately, when it was mentioned about education by you, when I came in, I had no topic decided in my mind to talk. But when Vicky told me that you are not speaking immediately on, I said thank you very much. Because in political speeches, to speak last is a skill. Because once you make a speech in one particular public meeting, the speech is read by everyone, and they understand the line of speeches, and they start quoting everything what you want to talk before you start talking. So you are left with no point. In fact, I remember a situation in 2003 when there was advocates program. Advocate Association had conducted a program here, and they were discussing about Advocates Act. And since I'm not a lawyer, I took a briefing from, which normally I don't do, but I took a briefing from learned AG about what to talk, because there were supposed to be people like Falin Nariman and all big shots in law on the dais. It was in Marriott. I was supposed to speak last. I had jotted down all points he gave. I was well prepared. Probably for the first time in my life, I was prepared for a speech. Because I don't prepare speeches. Even the 15th August speech are all extempore. And I don't write, I only write the points. And lo, Nariman was supposed to speak before me. He spoke everything what I had jotted down. Not a single point left for me. So obviously I had to completely change over. And I said that both of us, we in Goa and you lawyers, love bars. We have 101 bar per 110 people. Of course, it was a joke. But next day I had 7 or 8 lawyers meeting me in my house, protesting over my statement. Anyway, that's not the issue. He said about education, I think there are more educated or better educated, better qualified chief ministers in India. Maharashtra is one. He is MBA from one of the top universities in US, Howard or from somewhere. We have similarly educated chief minister in many of the state. And I for one don't believe that it is education per se. Of course, education gives an opportunity to deliver if you want to. It's an instrument and not a base. Because Vasantdada Patil, the same Maharashtra, had Vasantdada Patil who was 4th standard. But I would rate him 10 times better chief minister than the current one, who is MBA degree. I am not saying it's corrupt, don't take it wrongly. I'm just trying to point out whether education makes a man perfect. Yes, education do give him opportunity to deliver in a better way, in more efficient way. It's simply the principle in science I learned. Give me a place to stand and a long pole long enough, I will leave the earth. That was the lever's principle I learned. But you require a long pole, strong enough, and a place to stand. So it's leverage which is more important, and education definitely gives you the leverage aspect of it, but the base has to be there. And the base is created by character, not by education. Of course, we in olden times were supposed to be masters in education, creating education with values. The Gurukul system induced values into the education. Unluckily, today's education does not teach the values at all. I think it is the biggest defect. We are fighting over MOI. One thing I will be very clear, in many areas, my first Chief Minister's tenure has given me an experience which I am trying to correct this time. But unluckily, even after that, I had to speak to an editor today, telling him the ideas I floated in the meeting of Shiksha Ka Haq, where ideas floated to start the discussion, there was no one was speaking on any issue. So how do I start? The members, probably maybe because I am Chief Minister, or maybe they are accustomed for not thinking, were not responding. So I just pushed into arena some ideas which I told them very clearly, these are not decisions and these are not also my ideas. These are various ideas I have captured from various people. Things can be done this way. When they said RTA says RTE, and don't take it as an idea or what I am going to do. Because RTE says that a student shall not be detained in a class. I asked them question, does RTE defines academic year? They said no. Then you make the academic year for 2 years. Doesn't mean I am going to do it. I only showed you the solution. There was a case recently which file came to me. I will not name. Where one particular casino is not paying fees or license fees for last 3 or 4 years. It's resisting. And every time they issue notices, and the matter lies there. So file came again to me, new government. It came to me, I said you can issue notices, take proper legal positions, because every time notice is issued, you act without notice. The High Court says that natural justice is not done, which is perfect, which is why the courts are there. Everyone, even a guilty person, has to be given chance to prove himself not guilty. That is the basic logic. They said that okay, he doesn't have permission, he somehow manages, he gets top lawyers, all those things. I wrote in the file, you can follow the legal process and terminate his license, because we have license and recurring fees. He was not paying recurring fee. But then after signing the file, I called in the morning the concerned official and told him there is a very simple way you can stop his case. He said, what? From tomorrow, I told him, I have not started it, but I will start it after that statutory notice period. From tomorrow, you ask our police force to book every client for illegal gambling. No one is going to come to you. If you start booking the client for illegal gambling, the casino will be without clients and it can't run without clients. So everything has an idea. So I was just throwing ideas. And mind you, unless you churn out what I am seeing in Goa for last 2 decades where I am in political service, is that we have stopped churning ideas. We are getting directed by thinking of few people who are loud, who repeat the same point again and again. And what we need today is basically leadership. I will tell you 2 stories. Normally I don't go to stories, but I think they are worth it. Number one, which I believe, that my mother, when I was a kid, they used to have all this dahi and virjan. आता मुकेश तो तुम्हें सभी ready-made रखता. You don't have time to do that. But she used to cite the way I live. मतलब small part of it in Konkani. I won't be able to properly express it in English. Few things you can't express in other language than your mother tongue. This is one of them. The साय जी काट्टाली पळय हाका ती दूध तापयलेली साय येताली ती काट्टाली परत 3 वरान परत दूध तापयलें, परत साय येताली, 2दा 3दा 4दा साय येताली. द 5th time there was no cream in the milk, साय नासली पांचव्या येतो. You know the reason? It's very simple scientific. The criticality, the साय म्हणजे basically fat. The criticality, once you go on skimming the fat from the milk every time it is heated, nowadays you don't heat it, you directly put it in the fridge. That time, in order to keep it intact, you had to heat it boil it every 3-4 hours. Once you start creaming it off every 3-4 hours, after some time, the percentage of fat in the milk drops down to below critical level. It's a very simple chemical equation, because you require nucleus formation, you require certain number of fat molecules to hit each other, and the nucleus grows, and that is how the fat develops. But once it drops below a particular time, you don't get that. I call Goa today in the same way. We have a leadership crisis, leadership development crisis, because our youth has migrated out. My generation, I can hardly find anyone who had top rankers in Goa. You are skimmed of the cream of Goa. We are probably on an age of what I call critical mass of leadership in the state. You won't develop leadership if there is no critical mass. The result will be, it's very easy to say how you develop employment for 21,000. It's incidentally 21,000, not 25. It's your job to go on increasing it. My job to correct it. How do you do that? How do you initiate action in the society if you don't have people who can actually create activities by which employment will be generated? Parrikar can't create it. And that's why I said character is very important. And I put it in this word. Now this is a very important word. Don't take it wrongly. As far as I am concerned, I am on sabbatical in politics. That sabbatical ends at this term, 5 years. In fact, I wanted to end it last time only. But when I realized that people of Goa are ready to give the chance, I decided to extend it slightly. And my concept is very clear, and I'm very specific about it. My sabbatical ends in 2017. I don't go beyond that. We need politicians on sabbatical, same way we need leaders from young Goans on sabbatical. It's not easy task, I know. If you want to develop, I'm just watching education sector. One more story. I don't know, some of you might have heard it, but this is what I told in 2003 CII meeting in Goa, which Anand Mahindra repeated in 2-3 international forums. It's a very important story if you understand part of it. If you really catch up the crux of the story. It's very simple. It happens with my village called as Parra, where in 70s, 67 and 70s, Parra was, in Goa we have a habit of different product being named as a specialty, like fish also. A particular fish caught in a particular area will be tastier than the others. Same way, Alsane, Salgaon. Parra was known for watermelons. In my childhood, we used to go to watermelon, where watermelon were grown every end of every May to enjoy free watermelon given to us by those farmers. 28th, 29th, 30th of May, there used to be almost a mela. All kids used to come there, and they enjoyed the biggest watermelon in the farm. The biggest one, a selected one. Mind you, free. I never understood. When I went to IIT, I realized that farmer was actually using as free child labor. The condition was very simple. You eat watermelons, the seed should be spit into a basket kept nearby. And I don't know, try and take out seeds unless you eat seedless watermelons from the watermelon without damaging it. You will require number of people even for one watermelon. So as it is, after you take out seed, the watermelon cannot be sold. So kids were eating it and he was collecting seeds. So it was free child labor actually. He was very smart. We thought farmers are not intelligent. They're quite smart. After I completed my IIT, I came back to Goa. I went to market to buy watermelon and went and asked for watermelon from Parra. Those who were selling, they told me, Parra no more grows watermelons. So I was surprised. I was thinking about it. In IIT, I had an elective subject on genetics. So I knew about genetics. While thinking, I realized that what must have happened. The farmer was keeping the biggest watermelon for the kids. Actually, it was not for the kids, it was for the seeds. A big watermelon seed is likely, in every possibility to an extent of 80%, likely to grow into a plant which will deliver a big watermelons. Very simple. Even human genetics tells you, fair couple has a fair kid. No, it's very simple genetics. On the line, sometime during the course of generation change, the younger farmer who came there, took over from his father, realized that big watermelons can be sold for better price. So he started selling big watermelons and started keeping the smaller ones for the seed. The result was there to see. The only difference I'll tell you. The watermelon has a generation once a year. So the result could be seen by me in my own eyes within 10 years, in 10 generations. In human, the 10 generation means 250 years. We will not be there to see the impact. But the impact will be nonetheless there. You can see it actually. In 2 generations, you can slowly, where are the thinkers? Goa produced Baki Borkar, Goa produced Lata Mangeshkar, Goa produced, again, go on. So it is high time that your initiative actually reaches society. And I can assure you one thing. I can take few questions on this. Your initiatives can result into that seeding process of crystallization of the activity in the state, whether it is agriculture, industrial or anything. I believe that youth have the power. If you see, no old person, and I am not young anymore, no old person has generated a revolution. Show me a single one. Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, I can name them, dozens of them. They did wonderful jobs at age as young as 16 years for Dhaneshwar. When he wrote Gita, Dhaneshwari, he was 16 years old. Shankaracharya did his Bharat Brahman, created awareness about the nation's philosophy across nation and went for his Samadhi at the age of 32. When Vivekananda was in United States, I think he was hardly 20. So it is young who can really change, or parivartan as we call it. Young Indians can definitely do that. But for that you require character and you require dedication. And character, a lot of people tell me, अरे तुझी मातशी काळजी घ्या पण मध्ये मातशे काम कर. You don't have patience. The moment they realize that this government is delivering, the people are rushing one after another. I don't say we will deliver, but everything requires time. Everything requires maturity. People who have been waiting for 15 years calls me and say that my problem, can you solve it? Only you can solve it. Then I have to tell him that if you have waited for 15 years, please wait for another 6 months, I will definitely do it. I understand your agony. It is only the intellectual and well qualified professionals who can go back to the society, then the society will get leaders. Today they don't have leaders. Politicians can't be leaders. I have a plus point of being a good administrator, that's all. But I think character counts, even for a sabbatical. What counts is character. It should not be just passion for the subject. But if you go into sabbatical, are you ready to forego what are your own interests? Are you ready? When I say character, a lot of people don't understand character. Some people see it only from the angle of sexual episodes of the politicians. But for me, the word character has a very deep meaning. It should be, number one, obviously personal character. Number two, financial character. Do you feel pain if government loses 5 rupees because of your action? I do. I have put off all my lights in my bedroom before leaving for here. I don't have lights to burn in mine. I don't have ACs to run without being used. I don't mind someone using them. If someone is using, well and good. I really hate it. And if it is government money, I really absolutely hate it. And the third most important part of the character is, do you have character for the society? Do you really believe that every section of the society is equal and you will help a person based on his need and not based on his caste, his relations, his religion? I think these 3 parameters if you take, a sabbatical can be successful, and I intend to carry out my sabbatical to a success. Are you ready for sabbatical? Thank you.